think that you've seen it already. But I did write this book, and the reason I wrote this book was because when my father was diagnosed, we had to search all over the place. Like, we were reading everything we could get our hands on. And I'm just the type of person, just get to the point. I don't want to read a bunch of fluff just to see one point. I needed quick hits so that I could know what to do. So I decided, well, since I figured all what I needed, I'm just going to put it in a book for somebody else who's like I am. So that's what I did. But to plan the journey, I would say educate yourself, your family, anybody who's going to be involved in the care, because you need to know, what it all looks like. And they have all of these, alz.org, I always refer to them, that's the Alzheimer's Association, because they're a pretty reliable source with just about everything. There are tons of other resources out there, but that's a good start. So definitely just educate yourselves and your family. And sometimes it just depends on what point in the disease your loved one is in, and you might have to have that discussion with them as well. And you're going to need that so you can plan for the future. And then step 2 is to appoint someone to manage the financial and medical. So again, I'm just kind of learning. We were learning as we were going throughout this whole journey. So someone early on told me, make sure you take pictures of their driver's license, their credit cards, all of that. Make sure you get power of attorney because you will need it. And true enough, we did need it, so we got financial and medical. One thing that I was telling you, even after my father was diagnosed, and I was kind of taking over finances, so I had, looking at bank statements, paying bills. He no longer had to do that. But we didn't take away his debit card. So he would go every single day. He would go to Kroger or Publix, and outside they have an ATM. So he would pull out $100. Then he would go into the store to buy the same items almost every single day. And he would swipe his card instead of using the cash that he had just pulled out. He did that every single day. And so we talked about, when are we going to put it into this? But, at the time, he really wasn't hurting anything. He was losing all that money because he was losing it. But it was just something I think that he needed to make himself feel normal, and so we let him do it. But then that day, one day, my husband took him, they were coming from an elders meeting or something, and he took him, he wanted to stop at the bank machine, and he got out and he couldn't remember his PIN number. So he got back in the car and just said, whatever, he couldn't remember the PIN number, but he never used his card again, so that problem solved itself. So he never, and actually from that point, both of my sister and my mother, they would get a bunch of single dollar bills, maybe a 5 or a 10, but they would just get a lot of those and put it in his wallet. So he would always just pull out his wallet and count his little money and put it back. Most of it got washed or thrown away. We still don't know about that either. But they would just fill it up and, he still felt normal. So that was okay. But then some of you, if you're figuring any of this out, you may not be in a position where you can just let them do pulling out that money and losing it. And, it's not a good thing to happen. So, at that point, you'll have to remove some of those things that could cause some financial ruin. And then for medical, you definitely want to make sure that you're going with them to their doctor's appointments. That first appointment that my sister had gone to with my mother and father, and the doctor said, well, we gave you those pills, Namenda, for your memory. I mean, what did they think he would do with that information? You just told him he has dementia. And you know what that means, short-term memory. It was gone before he could even do anything with it. So if you find yourselves in the situation, make sure that someone is doing all of that, going to all of the appointments and managing the care. make sure that you have that power of attorney so that you can, submit claims or call the insurance company to do those types of things, because you may find it problematic if you do not take care of it. Have you done that? Your family? Yep. You guys, I'm sure, have done that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
What church did your father attend?
Berean Seventh-day Adventist.
I know him.
You do?
He was an elder?
He was the first